He's an emerald leader with the company. Thanks, buddy. Thanks, buddy. Good to have you. Let me get you the microphone. Gary, if we can get the microphone. Gary?
Yeah, I'm working on.
Okay.
Anyway, I think you can hear me now. Yeah, I want to thank everybody for being here today. Like Tony said, about a year ago, July 15th, I heard about this from Richard Anzalone, a mutual friend of ours, and I wouldn't have listened to him except because I get 3 or 4 calls a week or a day on different deals, and they all sound great. They all sound like the product is unique, and it sounds like the pay plan will make us a fortune, because I've been doing this for 25 years. And I found out after 25 years, 95% of those companies don't make it, okay? They last a few months, and then everybody, it's gone. And so, because they have poor management, the management doesn't have the wherewithal financially, compliance-wise, or legally, it just goes away, all right? And people sometimes get hurt and burned, and some of you guys might have been in that situation as well. But when I heard from Richard that Rick Mikey was the CEO behind this company, that's when I got excited, because I've known Rick's reputation. 17 years CEO, never was late with a check, never was with a company that got shut down, and he never was chastised as far as compliance. So he knows what he's doing. He had 2 companies that did hundreds of millions of dollars. This is his 3rd one. And it started about a year ago. So some of you guys will say, well, Tony and Gary and JJ and we all got in early, right? A year ago or thereabouts. And but you'll look back a year from now and you'll say, and you'll know that you got in early a year from now. Because believe me, when I got in a year ago, this is the only thing we had. We didn't have this. We talked about this, but it wasn't ready. We couldn't do all the stuff that Wendy just told you. The sports book just came out a month ago. And by the way, these 2 things are overseas. But don't worry about it. You might say, well, I don't know anybody outside the country, Canada, Mexico, Philippines. But you know somebody that you work with, or they know somebody in the Philippines or Canada or whatever. So that's how you reach out internationally. And we didn't have digital games. That just started about a month or so ago. Fantasy sports, that's legal gambling in the United States because it's considered a game of skill. So that's our real big emphasis right now. Tony will talk about it later, because we could do that in the United States. We can't do these 2, okay? And then travel, of course, also. But I would lead with this right now. I led with this, and we didn't even, and people in the U.S., some of them knew that it wasn't available in the U.S., so they said, well, I'll wait, you know. Meantime, my first month I made 40 grand. And I just got on the phone, and that's what you guys need to do. You can come at all these trainings every single Saturday, Thursday, Monday, but you won't make a dime unless you open your mouth and tell people. And most people tell me no. They're going to tell you no. All you need is a few. One good one on this side, one good on that way. That's what happened to me. I got 13 people in my first 2-3 months. I made 40 grand my first month. I made 160 my second month. I made over $1 million after 6 months. And I only have this. Look what you guys got. But you won't make a dime unless you open your mouth. Now, who do you open your mouth with? By the way, how many are new here? First time today. Anybody? Okay. Oh, you are? Okay, good. Welcome. Anybody? Let's see. So everybody else is already in the business, would you say? Anybody not in the business yet? Okay. So you guys kind of know, but I'm just saying that any of you can make the money I made, okay? And I'll make more the next 12 months, and you guys can come along with the ride. It's real, and make more than me even, okay? Because I was in a position, probably worse than anybody in this room, the year before I2G, which is G1E, came along. Because if you have the wrong company, you can't pay your basic bills, you know? And that's what I had. I had to go, the year before G1E, I had to declare a personal bankruptcy. I lost my car with a repo, I lost my house with foreclosure, and I lost my wife with divorce. All in the same year. And I get all choked up because I really, really, really miss my car. So anyway, but that's a true story. So any of you can do it. You just got to call people, get a lot of no's. That's what you're after, the no's. And a few people will say yes, and you'll make money like I made. If you don't open your mouth. Now, who are you going to call? Well, you know, real estate is slowing down in Vegas. This is what I hear. And all around the country, but especially in Vegas. The people from all, other countries that used to pay cash for these condos and stuff that brought Vegas back a little bit, they're gone, okay? And there's going to be some worse stuff, according to all the experts, as far as the economy goes. So who would you call? Does anybody in this room know somebody that works in real estate? Right? Okay. Or connected, mortgage, a title company, construction. It's all related, interior design. They're hurting. If they heard about this, they'd be on the stage like me. But it's your job to tell them. And how do you tell them? You don't talk too much. You just say a little bit. Like, I make money every time someone places a bet worldwide. And my business partner, you can use me, because you're all in my group. My business partner made $1 million in the first 6 months. Or if you're talking to a real estate person, because I got my real estate broker's license, you can say, you know, I help people. Do you know I help real estate people or construction people real estate people make money while they're waiting for the escrow to close. They're all waiting for an escrow to close. And my business partner, who's a real estate broker, if you're talking to a real estate person, made $1 million in 6 months. Are you open to taking a look? That's all. Now, open to taking a look. Now, you don't show them. You just have to point to something, like a webinar. Tony does them almost every day. Bring them here. I mean, if they're not interested in seeing how somebody in real estate made $1 million and they're trying to, they can hardly, you know, pay their rent or whatever, you know, then go to the next one. You say, but you don't go to them and say, are you interested? You say, who do you know, since you're in real estate, that might be interested in making some extra money while they're waiting for the escrow to close? That's it. And then, now we're international, so I get excited when I'm in line at the grocery store, at the bank, or whatever, and I hear someone with an accent, right? Oh, where are you from? Oh, really? You're from Germany? Wow. We're expanding our business in Germany, you know? Do you know any sharp people in Germany? See, I'm never talking about him, because that's too much pressure. You know, you're trying to sell him something. But if you say it like I do, you're not selling anybody anything. And they'll say, well, what about me? Or, you know, or something like that. So I'm just saying that you got to open your mouth and do that. And even now that Tony's doing a webinar in about an hour and 15 minutes, you can call people on the phone now and just tell them that, you know. And while I'm here, you can, if you have your cell phone, we're going to have a little break before Tony's webinar, you can call people, and then you can say, my business partner made you know, 7 figures in this first 6 months. And he happens to be here, and then you put me on, and I'll just tell my story, you know, which I just told you guys, a real short. You know, I missed my car. You know, they'll laugh on the phone or whatever. Sometimes they don't laugh. Like if they're from another country, and I say I really missed my car. I had one guy from Finland. I was on the phone with somebody put me on, and he said, "What kind of car was it?" You know? Yeah, Gary.
There's another market that we haven't talked about. We work the real estate market, which is really great what you're talking about, but it's the car lots. You realize how many car lots there is in this town here, and most of these salesmen of these lots may sell 1 car a month. They're so broke, they've lost their cell phone, couldn't pay their cell phone bill. And we went car shopping and talking to salesmen, and you'd make a friend with them. And next week I got 3 car salesmen coming to our Tuesday and Thursday night meetings, because they're not making no money selling cars today. I mean, can you imagine the guy's used to selling a car a day, sells 1 a month, and he's starved to death and can't keep her cell phone on. And I just accidentally fell into that and started going car shopping. So we go in looking for a car for my grandson, or move our car up, or whatever. I was talking to a guy this week. You got any Corvettes? Yeah, I got a Corvette. Went in and talked to him about the Corvette, got the model to make, the price and all that. And he see me driving one. I want one for my grandson. Found out that he made 1 sale last month. I did 5 of them this week. So it's another market that we're missing, and we don't talk about it much, but it's there. Just like this, talking about the real estate people, they're starved to death right now. There's no sales being made. So it's a good time to bring them on. Of course, the car salesman, he's working all day Saturday. He's working night, sometimes up to 10 o'clock at night, so you have to work in at night, he can get off. Same way real estate agent, but that's another market that we haven't even touched. You gotta look at these markets to bring new people in, and right now, it's bring new people to the operation. Thanks, Dennis.
Yeah, and it's the economy. In other words, any business is really hurting. Even, okay, nurses. Nurses sometimes have 2 or 3 jobs, you know, besides their nursing job, because they make extra money. Well, at least with what we do, you stay at home, you work your own hours, you get on the phone, and when you have to go to your nursing job, you go, see? So it's very flexible, instead of them getting another job over at Taco Bell or something. So what I'm saying is, every single, and you got to be on purpose. In other words, if you treat this like a hobby and you wait for somebody to ask you about G1E, ain't going to happen. You're not going to make any money. I can guarantee you that. That's the one guarantee I can make. There's no guarantees you'll make the kind of money I'm making, or Gary's making, or Tony's making, or JJ's making. But if you open your mouth, you got a shot at making more than us, because you'll hit a diamond in the rough. Somebody in real estate who's hurting. The reason I did my Rags to Riches story, true story, it was out of desperation. Because I got sick and tired. You know, when I lost my car, I live on a 2 miles up on a hill in LA, okay? I lost my car. I went out on a Monday morning and I parked it on the side of my house. I usually park at my garage, but one night I parked it on the side of my house. I had one of those $2,000 loans, you know, the pink slip loans. And I parked on the side, and I was behind in my payments, because again, if you have the wrong company, they're not paying you enough to pay your basic bills. So I pay my electric bill first, so I can still use my computer and try to make some money. But I go out on a Monday morning, and I'm ready to put the key in, and the car's gone. You know, that's it. Bye-bye. So for 3 months, I didn't have a car. And I live 2 miles up on a hill. And when I get to the bottom of the hill, I have to go another mile to the grocery store. So that's 3 miles, and I'd come back twice a week with 2 bags of groceries, and I have to go up the hill with 2 bags of groceries. So I got sick and tired of that. And in LA, it's tough without a car, right? So that was it. When I heard about when Richard told me, I got on that phone. We were going to open August 3rd. Richard told me about it the 15th of July. I got on the phone, and you know what? I called people. And I said the same thing I'm telling you. I don't tell you anything that, you know, and you're just a voice like I am, so don't think you can't do it. And you know more about computers than I do. JJ just told me to put Windows and something else on my computer that I didn't have, and that all this stuff. I really have, I'm not very technical at all. I mean, Wendy, I'm learning about all this stuff myself. I didn't know that much about it. All I knew is that we had a casino. See, that was different. That's why when I got on the phone, people who wouldn't return my call for 5 years, because I was doing the same old thing, like a nutrition or vitamin or lotion potion. You know what I mean? You guys have been doing that. And that's very tough. That's network marketing. This is net fund marketing. Because that's a lot of work when you got to explain why your product or your service is better than another product or service that's similar. And there's probably 10,000 companies that have the same kind of vitamin that say, well, you're not going to live as long unless you take our vitamin. You know how many companies say that? Okay, so that's a tough sell. This is easy. Well, especially in Vegas, people know what gambling is and all that stuff. You know, they all know people that love to gamble or play any of this stuff. The biggest rooms in the casino is the sports book, right? I mean, you know, that's huge. And even though we can't do it in the U.S., like I got a big group just now. I've been talking to him for a year. He said no, because he was doing something else. Not making the money I'm making, but making, you know, pretty decent money. And now he's getting in. He's in Canada. In Canada, they can gamble. We can do a meeting like this, and everybody gets on their computer. That's what Richard's in Korea now. And they start to gamble in the room, and they never leave. They like it so much. Matter of fact, in the MLM, people hate auto ship, right? Here, they love it, because around the world, they get chips. Here, you get tokens so you can play the games that are in the U.S. But around the world, they love it. So it's a different thing. It's really a global one. Entertainment, that's what we're into. And people are going to do entertainment even if they're, you know, they can't pay their mortgage, they're going to pay their cable. You know what I mean? So I'm just saying that they're going to do that without us anyway. It's not like a vitamin which people need. And you've got to convince them why they should get your vitamin. This is something they already want. They're going to go do the entertainment anyway. They're online like crazy. People are always playing these Big Bird games or whatever, Angry Bird. So I'm just saying that's what we're doing. So you want, and when people find out about this, the right way, not from you talking, by a webinar coming, like you say, oh, I'm new at this. they'll say, come on, tell me what's all about. Well, I'm just new at this, but one of the top people is going to be in Vegas here at this, whatever day you want, and or they're going to be on the webinar, get on the webinar on the comfort of your home. I mean, when I did this and I made that kind of money, we didn't have webinars. We didn't have a slideshow. All we had was Rick Mikey talking about what I2G was about to be, because it hadn't even launched yet. And that got people interested that wouldn't return my call for 5 years. They said, Dennis, you finally have my attention. See, because it's sexy. I make money every time someone places a bet. Not like this vitamin will save your life or whatever, you know what I mean? People go like that when they hear that. So this is very different, and you got to get to those people. You got to get, if you're not going to make any money unless you get a lot of no's. I got so many no's. And some of those people are like this guy, he's coming on board now, right? Same, even JJ, he'll tell you his story. He's a good friend of mine for 20 years, and he got in the very beginning. But he didn't do it till now. And he'll tell you why. Now's the time. Better than when I started. Okay? So you guys are missing the boat if you don't open your mouth. If you want to treat it like a business, not a hobby. In other words, if you have a full-time job, you can easily spend an hour a day, right? Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you spend an hour a day, and you can hit 20 people's answering machine in an hour, wouldn't you say? And you're most of the time going to get their answering machine. And then you just say, hey, Joe, I haven't talked to you in a while, but I'm making money every time someone places a bet worldwide, and my business partner made $1 million in 6 months. Are you open to taking a look? I'm going to send you a recorded webinar, or I'm going to send you, we're having a webinar, a live webinar tomorrow. I'm sending you the link for it. See, so you always send people something. You don't talk about it yourself. Even me, I don't talk. I can give the presentation, but I don't do it. I send them to something. Because if I give the presentation, here's something. If you have a dentist, dentists are good too. They have a lot of clients. And dentists are, everybody's hurting. Dentists have a lot of clients that would love this. And they'll think that way. But if you have to explain the presentation, 45 minutes to a dentist, he's going to say, I wish you the best of luck, but I'm a busy dentist. But if you say, hey, Mr. Dennis, I make money every time someone places a bet worldwide, and my business partner made $1 million in 6 months. That's more than he makes, right? And here's the webinar tomorrow. Take a listen. That's it. So he can say that to all of his patients, and now he can do the business in his mind. But if you spend 45 minutes or 15 minutes explaining something, and it's not going to be as good as a webinar, trust me, you won't have the visuals and all that. There's a lot of work that goes into that. We also have a 12-minute video that does the same thing that the webinar does in 12 minutes. If they can't watch a 12-minute video and they hear that somebody made $1 million and they can't eat that month or whatever, they're going to listen. Okay, that's what you want to go. You want to go after. I mean, so if you have a part-time, if you have a full-time job, you can spend an hour and you just leave that on their machine. That's what I did in the beginning, and we didn't have anything like we have now. And I got a few people, 13 people in about 3 months, made me $1 million. Because one went to work like I did on this side, and one went to work on this side like I did, see? And that's all you need. You need one on this side. You don't need, like in MLM, you need 50,000 people on the phone service for you to make $5,000 a month. Let's face it, you do. This one you don't. Trust me, you don't. You get one good one on this side, one good one on that side, and you can make more than I make. But you have to open your mouth in the beginning and get a lot of people telling you no. And some of those people, when they say no, it means not now. Because the timing might not be good. You know, they might be making $5,000 a month, and that's all they need to, pay their basic bills, and they're not going to risk it. But you can tell them, hey, you can still do your real estate. It won't detract from your real estate, and you can do this on the side and supplement your income, something like that. So if you don't have a full-time job, then make this your full-time job, which means you go like Gary and you spend 8 hours a day going to car dealers, right? Okay? You'll make a fortune. More money than if you worked 8 hours someplace else. But some of you, you got to eat and you got to keep your job. Like Tony. Tony had a job that he hated. A lot of you know his story. He was a manager of a car rental here in Vegas. For 9 years, he tried to quit his job because he wanted to do MLM and stay at home. All he needed to make was $3,000 to $5,000 a month. He couldn't do it for 9 years. I know, because he and I were struggling in several of these different companies. But when this came along, after 90 days, and he was broke as a joke in the beginning, but he had a guy in Thailand who made $3 million in some MLM deal.